Hey everybody, welcome back to another movie review here on my Steve K channel. And it's been a while since I've done a movie review. Last time I did one, I don't really remember exactly. Not really gonna get into detail of the movie that I reviewed, but anyway, this is gonna be a review of a movie that I watched back in the day, like in probably 2001, 2002, and 2003. I do have this movie. I think I had it on DVD at the time, and I think I have it on VHS now, and I think I actually had the soundtrack to this movie, and yeah. So anyway, some people might have liked this movie. Some even call this movie a guilty pleasure movie, but I don't think it did so well at the box office, movie wise. But anyway, this movie is entitled Ready to Rumble. It's a 2000 film about two guys that are WCW wrestling fans, and pretty much a story about their favorite wrestler in WCW. Now, there also was a video game that was called Ready to Rumble. It was for the Nintendo 64 and I believe the PlayStation 2. I'm not sure about PlayStation. It might have, but I'm not sure. So anyway, this is a 2000 film that stars David Arquette as Gordy Boggs and Scott Caan, or Khan, whatever it is. I'm not sure exactly how it's pronounced, but anyway, as Sean Dawkins. And they are huge WCW wrestling fans, as I said. The movie starts with this guy talking to these three kids about WCW, and then talking about their favorite WCW wrestler, Jimmy King, played by Oliver Platt. So this rude employee of this gas station convenience store, played by Ahmed Zappa, who does not like wrestling at all, causes a terrible scene, and Gordy goes into the convenience store and has this crazy dream where he is teaming up with Jimmy King against the guy and Macho Man Randy Savage. Another, actually what I was trying to say was there are a lot of WCW wrestlers in this movie that have cameos or play themselves in it. So, Gordy's father, who is a police officer, does not like the fact that he is a wrestling fan and wants his son to go into the business as a police officer, like his mother is one and his sister is too. So, they are sewage workers, actually. That's their occupation. That's just what they do, to make this movie funny. And they wind up going to WCW Monday Night Nitro, and that's where they watch their favorite wrestler, Jimmy King, take on Diamond Dallas Page, who plays himself. And of course, you'll remember him. He always does this thing, the Diamond Cutter, as they call it. And he goes against Jimmy King on Monday Night Nitro, and Jimmy King loses his World Heavyweight Championship to him. And the CEO, Titus Sinclair, played by Joe Pantoliano, I guess, or whatever it is it's pronounced, I'm not sure, and tells him that he can no longer wrestle Jimmy King. So upset as they are driving home in their sewage truck, and their sewage truck causes an accident. So their truck is now broke down and they don't have a car, and now they're going to travel on foot at first to try and find Jimmy King. And as they now go to this convenience store where they meet this other wrestling fan who tells them he knows where Jimmy King is and all that, and he gives them his address. And they wind up seeing all these other people, including Jimmy King's wife, played by Caroline Ray, who has not seen him in a while, and his parents. And the parents tell him that he borrowed their mobile home and never returned it. And that's when they find him in the mobile home, drinking and he's telling them, pretty much that all of this of WCW is part of the act. But he's telling them that he no longer wants to get back into the ring, but the next day, after taking their advice, he decides to go back into the ring and get a shot at his title. So, as they now head to the next one, which is the next event, which is this WCW show, I believe it's Nitro or one of them, Jimmy King comes out of a porta potty, which is what they take him in, so he doesn't be seen, and he hits his finishing move on Diamond Dallas Page, and pins him, and all of a sudden becomes a new champion. But Titus Sinclair decides that there will be a triple cage match, which is a cage on the bottom, then the middle and top, with the belt at the top. And if Jimmy King wins the match, he will win the belt and $1 million, and $1 million cash prize. But if he loses, Jimmy King can never wrestle again. And now, Gordy meets one of the Nitro girls named Sasha, who is one of his favorites in the Nitro girl thing. But Jimmy King is in need of a trainer, so they go to this, as I'm reading this off of Wikipedia, they go to the training center where they also meet his former tag team partner, Bill Goldberg. And they also find Sal Bandini, played by Martin Landau, and he winds up training Jimmy King, and that's pretty much it. But as they're, later on in the movie, Jimmy King now goes to see his wife and tries to patch things up with her, which was really not a success, and his son as well. So now they're looking for a partner for Jimmy King, and Gordy's father comes to where Gordy is at and picks him up and takes him and tells him that he told his father that he wants to do this with Jimmy King, but tells him that he doesn't want him doing that. So as Gordy comes home with his dad, he tells him that he cannot attend the thing with Jimmy King, the event thing. So instead it had to be Shawn and him, but they have to find him a partner. So they find these 3 people that are training at this little barn or something, and it's like these 2 guys, one guy named Fireman Fred. He's just like a guy in a firefighter suit that says, "I'm Fireman Fred, and I'm gonna hose ya." Ah, really. And this next guy who is I can't remember his name, but he was so weird, pretty much. I can't remember. I think it was Chewer or something. He's just like a country boy and just spits out something in a spittoon and just shows missing teeth. And then they show this lady, and her name is Kitty or something. And she introduces herself, but Jimmy King says that this might be a little dangerous for her or whatever. So she rips off her clothes and shows some kitty lingerie on her and just says, "My friends call me Miss Kitty" or something, or some kind of name where they said. So now, as they are ready to go to the event, Gordy pulls up with his father in his police car and tells him that he cannot come again, but just wishes him good luck in the match. So now, we are at the event, which is, we're at the main event, and Sinclair is telling, before before he tells the match about it, Sinclair is having an interview with Sting, one of the wrestlers, and telling him not to let Jimmy King win the match. And that's pretty much it. So now we're ready to start the match, and Sinclair telling the whole description. Now we get into Michael Buffer. Of course, if you don't know who Michael Buffer is, he is the guy that always says the quote whenever they get ready to start either a boxing match or a wrestling match. He would always, pretty much boxing, but he did do wrestling as well, like in '97 with WCW. I think he did a few with WWE. I know he did the Royal Rumble and a couple others. And he always would say, "Let's get ready to rumble," which is, of course, his phrase that he always says. And that's what he says, but he doesn't say, "Let's get ready." He just says, "We are ready to rumble." And there you go. So now the match starts up, and then DDP's goons, as they call them, interfered in the first match, on the Monday Night Nitro from before, and now they try to interfere again. But as they do. One of them that appears is Jimmy King's son and winds up beating him up, but then comes more help as the people who were like against Jimmy King decide to turn face in the process and help him. But as they cannot get into the cage because the cage is locked up, somebody on a police motorcycle coming in and crashes through the cage and gets it open. And that causes everybody to come into the cage and destroy everybody in the ring pretty much. And just Goldberg spears like one person and jackhammers the next person. And while at the police station, Gordy's father is watching the event on a television and winds up and finds out that his son on there is in the event. So, as Jimmy King is about to supposedly get hit with a chair, he runs to the guy and spears him, delighting his father in the process and loving it. So, that changes his dad's mood, and now with the fact that he's happy with him with wrestling now. So the match continues as Jimmy King and Diamond Dallas Page now get up to the second cage, and now the next one will be the last one, and whoever gets up there and gets the belt gets the victory. But Sting is in the rafters somewhere waiting to strike if anybody is supposedly going to try and like get the belt or whatever. So Jimmy King is back body dropped onto right down to the first cage, and just as Diamond Dallas Page is about to get the win and get the belt, Sting, coming out of nowhere, hits him right in the face and knocks him all the way down to the first cage, turning him face in the process, because Sinclair told him that he did not want Jimmy King to win, and there you go. So now Jimmy King, back in it with Diamond Dallas Page, are now back up to the third cage, are now on all up to the third cage, both of them. Jimmy King scoops and slams Diamond Dallas Page from the top cage and all the way down to the bottom, landing right onto the ring. And Jimmy King, just looking at the belt, grabs it and takes it and celebrates in victory, including all the people watching, and just celebrates in the ring as DDP is helped out with his goons. Yeah. So now, Jimmy King now has an interview and just says that he's, got a new tag team partner, which is David Arquette or Gordy, and Shawn is now like his manager pretty much. So now the film ends with them back at the convenience store with the three kids again, and Gordy and not Diamond Dallas Page, jeez Louise, Gordy, Goldberg, and Jimmy King throw out the employee of the convenience store and just tell him, not to be mean to kids anymore or whatever, and just, yeah. And the film ends with them riding in a Jeep with two of the Nitro girls, or something like that, and Sal Bandini in the back with a little hot tub with two women as well, and just says, "God bless America," and that's it. Yeah, so pretty much that's pretty much the way that the movie is. Now, like I said before, some people are not big on this movie. It's probably because of the way that the movie is, but I think pretty much that this is a funny movie. I mean, I like, the wrestlers that are in it, and I like David Arquette. I mean, Scott Caan or Con, whatever. I haven't really seen him in a lot of movies. I think he was in CSI or one of them shows that he was in. No, it's Hawaii Five-0, that one. Sorry. But the wrestlers that are in this, there's so many that are in this. Some of them that are like actually in WWE. I will mention one of them that actually has an uncredited cameo in this. You probably do know this, and that is John Cena. He's one of the guys that is working out in the gym at the place where they meet, or where they're trying to train Jimmy King. So there you go. But several WCW and WWE wrestlers have cameos or play themselves in it, like I said. But like I said, some people are just not big on this movie. But and as I mentioned before, I do have the soundtrack to this movie, and honestly, the soundtrack is not all that great. The reason is because that some of the music on this is not really that great, and the reason is because there's one particular song. It's funny, but it's not. A little bit, but not to some people, and that is the song Baby One More Time is in the soundtrack, because there's a scene in the movie when what's his name, the two guys, Gordy and Sean, the guy that I said before they met at the convenience store, they're at his house, and Sean is listening to music on the guy's headphones, and supposedly is listening to Britney Spears. He's going, "My loneliness is killing me. I must confess, I still believe, give me a sign, hit me baby one more time." That's a funny scene in the movie. I mean, they probably have that, but again, the song is in the movie, but it is not her singing it. It's Ahmet Zappa and Dweezil Zappa. I mean, it's funny, how they do the song, but I just thought it was pretty funny. But it also has the song "We Will Rock You." It is played in the movie. I think it's played at the end of the movie, but it's not Queen's version. It's DJ Hurricane and Scott Weiland. It has "Jump Around" by House of Pain. It has "King of Rock" by Run DMC. It has "Ball with Doll" by Kid Rock, which is a song they play near the end of the movie at the wrestling event. But it's not like the original version of it. It's just it's called a "Lower Than You" remix. And and they also have "We're Not Gonna Take It." It is by Twisted Sister, but the artist that sang this is Biff Naked. The song is not bad. I will say that. I mean, it's all right. And the last one on there is "Girls, Girls, Girls" by Motley Crue, because that is the song they play in the movie for the Nitro Girls. Yeah. And that's it. I mean, because like I said, I do own the soundtrack to it, because when I saw or heard a lot of the music in it, I had to get the soundtrack for it. But out of a 4 rating, as they give, for movies, like the big one they give is usually like 4 stars, and that's the most. I actually give this 2 stars out of 4, not 5. And the reason of that is because the ending, was all right. Well, the event that was, but it's not too bad of a movie. I mean, it's just not really to some people's liking, just because of the way the story is, or whatever it could be to some people. Yeah, but there you go. So that is going to have to wrap it up for this movie review of not WWF. Well, it is WCW, but it's just called, Ready to Rumble. So there you go, and that's it. So that'll do it for this movie review of Ready to Rumble. Hope everybody enjoyed this. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe if you have not yet, and please do, because it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. And you all take care, and thank you for watching this Ready to Rumble movie review. Thank you.